talk about the old times, how we used to pick the strawberries, and now we're here to be able to enjoy.
I re, I can recall a few that I know of. One was James Elliott. He was a popular community leader here in Ponchatoula. Otha Boyd and Henry Jefferson, Levi Harris. But their product was when they grew it, it was sold before it was planted. People come place their order, I want so many bushels of this.
Well, my grandfather, Charles Temple, bought to purchase this land in 1921. He farmed the land. Um, then my daddy come along, he farmed 10 or 11 acres that's in co-op right now. They got on record in co-op for farming land, about 10 acres here. It has always been farmland up until the late 80s. I think late 80s was the last time we farmed here. And that was just a small garden. We've had snap beans, okra, strawberries.
They sold a lot of their strawberries on Main Street a lot because the farmers would, you know, just set up on the side of the streets, as some may do today, but it was a lot of farmers that did that back in the day.
I picked strawberries for Paul Kozo, the first guy I picked for and got paid. After that, when I was grown, I picked for Peter Nona and Jack Lauser.
But some people, they would leave the sugarcane harvest and come here and pick strawberries. And then when strawberry season was over, then they'll go on the plantation down there to plant and harvest sugarcane.
I had a younger brother, my twin brother, he picked strawberries. I had older brothers, which some of them had already left home, but they would come back, you know, on the weekend. And they would go out there with my mother and I and my twin brother. People outside of the Ponchatoula, they'll be like, they drive in to get those strawberries because they were like the biggest and the juiciest strawberries. They were sweet strawberries back there. And so everybody would come to Ponchatoula and get their strawberry. They'll even talk about the Ponchatoula strawberry wine. I have family today, they were like, when you gonna get that Ponchatoula strawberry wine? I'm like, because they're coming in from all over the country just to come back home because this is their roots. So they always come back home for the Strawberry Festival, which is always held in April. So it's like a family reunion. Because Ponchatoula is still a smaller town, but I think it's like no one wants to share about their past, but I'm who I am because of my past. I am who I am because I never left Ponchatoula. And I found that I can live here and become a city council representative and to represent the small town that I live in.
Do you think more people would talk about it once they see this short film? Do you think they'll talk about their experience as strawberry pickers?
I would hope so. I would hope so because, you know, back in the day you would probably be ashamed, but today I wouldn't be ashamed of it because, like I say, this is who I am. This is what made me to be where I'm at today.
Do you remember the person who you picked strawberries for?
Yes, I remember when I little Mr. Cardrew and Ruby Drew. They were local farmers of Ponchatoula, but they was like on the outside of Ponchatoula on Estabrook Road. And I remember, you know, they would come by in their little truck, their green pickup truck, and we would all pile up on there. And I mean, it was like amazing to see that, you know, as little as 7 years old, going out to pick strawberries with adults, you know. So, but it was an experience. Well, the former Mr. Drew, our family was like his pickers, and they had other farmers. They had their pickers, but we was like Mr. Drew's pickers, and you know how they would say that hey, we got them. This family is our family, so we know that this family is going to come every Saturday, or we're going to come and pick them up every Saturday. And so it was in that era, back there. That was, ooh, Lord Jesus, back in the 60s.
Did your mom pick right along with you all?
Yes, my mom did. She picked right alongside of us. I remember I had a younger brother. I also have a twin brother. Him and I really picked, but I had a younger brother. He would get the carrots. They were like wooden wooden carriers. He would get the carriers and bring them out to the elderly people. And he wasn't no more than about 5 years old.
So everybody was working?
Everybody was working. Right alongside my mother.
When did you stop picking strawberries?
Oh, I would say I probably picked strawberries all the way up until I got in the 9th grade, until I went to high school. And then that's when I was more into, because Ponchatoula was a strawberry farming town,
There was some strawberry farmers around here, but they was fortunate.
And why would you say that?
They didn't have to worry about trying to get pickers. Their family, some of them had enough kids in the family, they would pick the berries. And the other ones, they had family members would come over and help them to harvest their berries. And so they didn't have to worry about trying to find any pickles.
And this is where most of the farmers grew their strawberries. And their strawberries would go into even auctions and stuff like that. And they will sell them in the stores. And so it was a great experience. I mean, just to know that I had a process and that at the end of the season, right after he get his harvest, he will let the pickers come in and pick what they want. And my mom would make preserve. My mom would freeze them. She would do everything. She would make jam. She would make jelly. She does everything with the strawberries. And so that was our winter food that we was able to use during the wintertime when we picked strawberries. And we could only use the field after Mr. Drew was finished with his strawberries.
When it come down to harvesting the berries, that the black pickers should be recognized, that they was one of the major force in harvesting the strawberries. I like to talk about it when I can find someone I can talk about it to. Most people don't want to recall those days. Now that is part of history, and it's going to always be part of history. You can't change history. You can rewrite it, but it won't be accurate. The fun times, what we had to do to survive, why we had to pick those berries. We was glad to get out there and pick those strawberries so we can buy our school clothes for the incoming school year. And continue to talk about it. You don't want it to die. You don't want that part of history to die, just disappear altogether. I can recall getting up in the morning, early in the morning, getting dressed to go to waiting on the ride, as we say, to come pick us up, jumping on the back of that truck on our way to the strawberry field. We was happy then. We would go out there and we was going to try to pick so many carrots of berries a day so we can make a certain amount of money a day. So at the end of the week, we would have a certain amount of money. And that's what we were striving for. That's what I was striving for.
Was it black and white working in the field together picking strawberries?
Oh yeah, it was black and white picking the strawberries. Now, the white students, if the farmer that was raising the berries, if he had kids, they would get out there in the morning time with us and they would pick strawberries until about 8 o'clock, and then they would go in, they get dressed, and he would drive his kids to school. And we was out of school, and we was out there picking his berries. And I didn't like that.
Do you attend the Strawberry Festival?
Not as regular as I used to when the, when the first festival first started. I served two, I think 2 years on the Strawberry Festival board representing Ponchatoula High School where I was working at the time. And getting after once I was off the board, I would, attend the festival on a regular basis. I was covering the festival for news stories, but I don't attend as often as I used to.